everyone, I'm Staci and welcome to episode 10 of the Bargain Bandit. Woohoo! So this is our 10th episode and today's date is August 21st, 2012, and I'm just going to go over a few things that I've recently sold, and I've actually sold quite a bit, so this will be a few choice things. So the first item I'm going to talk about is an item I picked up as part of a lot of games. I got probably 6 games with this group of games, and it's not really a game, but I picked it up because it was kind of part of the group, and I thought, what the hey, I'm trying to bundle and bargain, and even if I can't sell it, it'll look cool in the shop. Now you guys know where I'm going with this, right? So the it's a glow in the dark Ouija board from Hasbro. I think it's from 1998. But surprisingly and interestingly, Ouija boards sell really, really well on eBay. So now that I know that, I will pick up every one I see. They don't sell for a tremendous amount, but I still made a good profit, especially considering I got this, the Ouija board for not very much at all. So I'm pretty excited that I sold a Ouija board. Ooh. Any ghosts? No. Hobby games are kind of my weakness and my passion, and I tend to overpay for them because, they're cool and I know that they're going to sell, but, I'm not going to get the kind of profit off of them because people who buy hobby games typically won't let them go for the amount of money that I'd like them to let them go for. But I still know that they sell, and they sell pretty easily, and that's the case with the next two items. And I'll just talk about both of them real quickly and then show you what I made off of them. So the two games were Civilization and World of Warcraft. Civilization I paid $13 for at a yard sale, and it was in really good condition. It had never been played. The person who bought it, they opened it up, they punched it, and then they looked at all the pieces and said, "This is too complicated for me. I'm not going to play it." I did overpay at 13. But I did make a profit, and I actually sold this one, and this is the very first item I sold on a site that's not eBay. It's called Board Game Geek, and it's only for board games, obviously, and it's a huge, it's an old-looking site, but it's kind of the site for board gamers. So, yeah, so Civilization's the first game I've sold on Board Game Geek, and I'm pretty stoked about that. I got my first rating on there, and I did okay on it. The other item is the World of Warcraft game that I picked up at another yard sale, and I picked it up with a whole bunch of games. I paid $50 for 15 games, but I paid $20 for World of Warcraft. So the other 14 games I got for $30. I really, really wanted World of Warcraft, and I did overpay on it, but I still made a pretty decent profit on it, even though, $20 is a lot of money to spend on one game. I sold it for, significantly more than that. So I did okay on World of Warcraft and Civilization. Hobby games are easy sells, difficult buys. So, I'm always excited when I can find a hobby game at a yard sale or at a thrift store because, easy sells. Just a couple weekends ago, I picked up a couple of sets of Dominoes because I keep seeing Dominoes selling on eBay. So I said, well, I should learn something about Dominoes. So I put one of them up on eBay. It was a Pure & Co. Double six set of Dominoes. It had this green logo on the back that I still to this day have no idea what the logo's for. And it sold really super quick. The person, like within an hour, sent me an offer, and I accepted the offer on the Dominoes. And the great thing about this one is I got an education from the person who bought the Dominoes because I went and looked at his history, and I saw he bought a lot of these Pure & Co. Dominoes. And I, knowing nothing about Dominoes, is like, I want to learn something about it. So I learned quite a bit about Pure & Co. Dominoes. I learned about how you can kind of date them by the P.O. box number on the boxes. He gave me all the information on that. And he's been super helpful. And hi, Kenneth. Thank you. And so I'm kind of excited about learning more about Dominoes and more about things in general. There's a couple of things that I have right now that I really need to learn more about. I have a couple of cribbage boards, vintage cribbage boards, that I don't really know for sure what the value is on them. But I'm finding that people who buy the items can be a great resource for knowledge if they, buy a lot of that same item. Like, Kenneth bought a lot of Purmco Dominoes. So I learned a lot about Purmco Dominoes from him, and now I feel like I have like a source of knowledge of this item, so that if I see them at yard sales or estate sales, I know what they are and I kind of know their value, and I know kind of how old they are because, there's no dates on them, so it's very difficult to date them. So thank you, and I sold some Dominoes. The last item I'm going to talk about is something that is not a game. Surprise, surprise. It's something I picked up because I'd seen on somebody else's video, and I don't really remember which right now, or I would shout out to them. But shout out to all the people who make videos like this because they're super helpful. It was somebody had mentioned that the spiral bound cookbooks that are like, niche and like, area specific or theme specific sell really well. So I picked up a bunch of these cookbooks and I put up the two Alaska ones, and they initially didn't sell. And so I actually picked up an Alaska ulu knife at another yard sale, and put it in there with the Alaskan cookbooks, and the item finally sold, not for a tremendous profit. It was not like the best purchase ever, but it's kind of an example of, I'm having difficulty selling something that I thought would sell well because I'd heard other people sell them well, but I'm not having that same luck with them. So I kind of, looked outside the box and said, well, what do I have that I can bundle it with? So I'm not sure if the person bought them because they wanted the cookbooks or they wanted the ulu knife. Regardless, they got a great deal for the items. And I still made a profit on them, so that's a plus. But, I definitely, understand the value of bundling things together, and it's kind of exciting when you sell something kind of out there, and you still make a profit. It's kind of cool. Makes you feel good about yourself. That brings us to the end of the show, and I'm going to do a new feature at the end of the show now, and we're going to call it my top 3 favorite current picks. So from the past weekend, I'm going to use the past weekend for this one, my top 3. So my top 3 favorite picks for the past weekend. The first one is this. I bought a bunch of games, and actually all these games are from that one. I really enjoyed the games I got from this lot, and I didn't have a great weekend, but my first stop of the day was fantastic. I got a bunch of games I paid $13 for, I think 18 games, and it actually turned out to be 19, and I'll explain why in a second. So this here is a Uno Deluxe copy of Uno Deluxe from 1978, and it's, in pretty good condition. It's got, it also, there's score pads there, an open box of score pads from 1978 that they had bought with it. So this was cool, but this is not why it's my favorite pick. It's my favorite pick because when I opened up the box, I found this. A pretty good condition copy of Ono 99. This is from 1982. And it was funny because I look through what sells in board games every day, what the recent sales are, and I see these sell a lot. And I picked up a lot of different Uno games. I picked up, some Uno knockoffs, some Uno, different Uno games from the makers of Uno and that sort of thing. And I hadn't come across this yet, and I saw it sold a lot. And I'm like, why haven't I found a copy of Ono 99 yet? And then it was inside the Uno Deluxe. How cool is that? Like, seriously, that's pretty cool, right? So this was essentially free because I had no idea it was in there. I'm not going to look through, 18 games, when I'm buying them for less than $1 a piece. I'm just taking the chance on them. So this is what I think is a super cool find. They sell consistently for $10 to $15. So I was stoked that I finally get to sell a copy of Ono. The next thing I'm going to show is another game from the same place. Like I said, I paid less than $1 for each of these games. And this one is, it's in rough shape, but it's old. It's from 1968 from the Western Publishing Company. It's called the Stock Market Game, and it's actually an extremely popular hobby gamers game. It's got a board, and it's complicated. You're trying to buy and sell stocks, buy when they're high, buy when they're low, sell when they're high. It's a pretty cool game. It's got a lot of little stocks, shares, money. These little everything. Everything is pretty cool about it. It's got this board here. The board's got a little staining in the middle, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition. The instructions are on the top. The box itself is in rough shape, but I can repair that if somebody wants me to repair it. I'm leaving it as it is, and if the buyer wants me to repair it, I'll repair it. But, still, cool game. I might get 25 to 30 out of that, believe it or not. And then my final cool buy of the weekend is something I know nothing about. And you know what? The internet knows nothing about it. It's crazy. So, it's this. Jimmy the Greek Odds Maker Basketball. And, Jimmy the Greek was, of course, somebody who was dishonored and he was a terrible guy, blah, blah, blah. He bought, he released 2 Odds Makers games. One was called Poker Star, something like that. The poker game I've been able to find, and I've seen it sell for anywhere from $10 to $20. But the Odds Maker Basketball one, it doesn't exist on the internet. As far as the internet cares, this game was never made, which is kind of cool. Nobody's ever sold it on eBay. So it's complete. It's in pretty good condition. The box is in fairly good condition. It's got a little bit of a split corner there, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition. The game is from 1974, the year I was born. I just gave away my age. And my birthday was last week. So, birthday gifts would be buy something off my eBay channel. That would be fantastic. So, that's, it's in good shape. It's got these little basketball players. It looks pretty complicated. It's got this little scorecard thingy. I don't know if I can show it, but it's got this really complicated thing here. The game board looks really complicated. It's got these cards. The instructions are included. It's in good condition. And I don't know at all what it's worth. No clue. No. Isn't that cool? Like, not having a clue. So I'm actually going to put this up, because I want to see if it'll sell. So I'm going to put it up on eBay tonight. I'm going to do it as an auction. I'm going to start it at $9.99. If I make $9.99 on it, I paid less than $1, so it's a good deal. But I'm curious to see if it has value. I'm going to do it for a 7-day auction to make sure that, the most people see it as possible. And hopefully I get a bidding war on it because it seems really rare. Watch, it'll be something that I'll sell for $10, and then a year from now I'll discover it's worth like 150 or something crazy like that. But the only way I can find out right now what it's worth is to try selling it and see what the demand is on it. So those are my top 3 picks of the weekend. Woo! So I hope you enjoy watching my show and my channel. Please check out my eBay auctions at Kraus House of Cards and Games. You can find us on the web, www.kraushouseofcards.com, www.kraushouseofcardsandgames.com. You can comment, because I love comments, and I'm not getting very many comments. I know people are watching these. I can see the views. So comment. Say something. Say something nice. Say you like my show. Comment, like. I'm apparently reverting back to week 2. Subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you to all my subscribers. I love you. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.